You're awesome. You came back. I am grateful. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for dedicating yourself to learning this content. Thank you for dedicating yourself to going out and teaching it. You are changing lives. Most people think, hey, I didn't get in front of a classroom today. I didn't change any lives. Friends, you got to learn all this before you can go out and change lives, which means life changing starts here. You're doing awesome. Now, we've covered the model. We've covered why it's the market of the moment. We covered passengership and partnership. You guys have covered so much. We covered so many of the products that are available today. Now we're going to get into ways to hack mortgages for people that already have a loan. This is wildly important, again, because our 36 touches, which let's just stop. 36 touch doesn't mean 36. It's just a concept. It was an idea. Some people have the 72 touch. Some people have the 31 touch. Some people have the 57 touch. You do you, boo. I'm good no matter how many touches you want. What I'm not good with, though, I'm not good with touches that are not needed and useful. Meaning, there are going to be some. One of them might be you and a lap dog. Picture of you with a lap dog. People love that. Or you holding a cell phone. Or don't tell me you don't have your prom picture that you're still using. I'm good with all of it. What I'm not good with, though, is adding in needful and useful touches as well. Needed and useful is the key. Helping people save money or make money, and helping people save time or have more time are the highest uses. That's it. We're going to help people make more money in the following section. Step number 4, understand mortgage hacks for homeowners. Build your value to clients by learning tools homeowners can use to save money over the short term or the long term on the mortgages that they already have. So what would you be doing with this content if you're a realtor? I'm so glad you asked. You could be standing up the seminar on mortgages right now. You should be, as an agent, teaching mortgage hacks. You should be teaching it online. You should be teaching it at live client events. You should be taking your best 5 agents out to dinner and helping them go through this together. You should be calling every single person in your data bank in a friendly TCPA way and going through and figuring out what's the best hack for them. You should be making social media clips and putting them out on mortgage hacks. You should be teaching at local colleges. You should be teaching this from the rooftops. Cool. So let's go into them. Okay, let's talk early payoff. There are several early payoff hacks that homeowners can take advantage of. By the way, the reason that hacking a mortgage and paying it off early makes sense is because interest is calculated by the day, which means the less days you have the mortgage, the less you're paying over time. So we gave you a bunch of different ones. Now you're going to say, oh, Jason, I already knew that first one. Nothing new here. Yeah, I get it. I was giving you the first one that I knew you already knew so that you could get comfortable with the format that we're using. And I'd like to explain to you what the curse of knowledge is. You see, the curse of knowledge dictates that because you know something, you assume that everybody else does also. That's the curse. Please don't assume that every consumer knows this. That would be stupid. Assume that everybody doesn't know it and that your job is to be the teacher. The first one we gave you, make one extra loan payment each year. By making one extra payment per year, a homeowner can reduce the amount of interest they will pay over the life of the loan and the duration of the loan. In this example, the monthly payment is $3,160. You know that because that's been the example throughout the entire book. By making one extra payment of $3,160, the mortgage will be paid off 6 years ahead of schedule with a net savings of over $156,000. Okay. Just stop. Because knowing it is one thing, but guaranteeing and making sure that everyone's doing it is something else. Friends, if you had a way that I could save $156,000 and you didn't tell me about it, I would be so mad at you when I found out. We got you. This is a thing. And what we showed you here was we gave you the exact chart, and you can see the savings, $156,023. That's a no-brainer if you can afford to make the payment. And by the way, everybody can. I spend about don't tell Gary. Or Jay, or Mark King, or Jen David. Don't tell anybody this. I spend about $3 a day every day on coffee. Because the coffee at KWRI it's Drek. And so I stop and I get a cup. I want you to just know that would make up about half, don't tell Sajik, that would make up about half, by the way, of this payment if I was making it once a year. I'm just throwing that out there. You might have to stop your lattes in lieu of saving 156 grand. Number 2, the pay bi-monthly instead of monthly. This knocked my socks off. By paying monthly, the borrower pays a total of $3,160 per month. With a biweekly payment, they will pay $1,580 every 2 weeks. That's all they're doing, taking the same payment. They're paying it every 2 weeks. By switching to biweekly payments, the borrower will pay $493,804 in interest and will shorten the repayment period to 24 years. Friends, that means they save $168,000. $168,000. I'm just saying. The next one's called the roundup. By increasing the monthly payment, you round up. Here's what we did. The payment we were making was $3,160. We rounded it up to $3,200. You get what roundup means now? We just rounded it up. That saved 32 grand over the life of the loan. That shaved 2 years plus off of the 30-year mortgage by simply rounding up. You know how people say it's a rounding error? It's literally a rounding error. That could save you $32,000. Number 4, $1 a month plan. Each month, increase the payment by $1. So good. By the way, if you do that right, that could reduce the mortgage by 8 years. I wouldn't even make a chart for you because it's going to be based on whatever your mortgage is. That's incredible. How about surprise money? We're going to show you what surprise money does in the next one. That's unexpected money that you get, send it to your mortgage. Gary Keller did that, by the way. Anytime he get extra money, he sent it to his mortgage. He paid off his house, I think, in 9 years. There is nothing wrong with it. Yeah, let's just address this thing. People say, there's all these gurus on YouTube these days. Some of the best are the ones that profess to be real estate people. I don't know the guy's name. He flies around in a jet. I don't know. And he says, owning your home is stupid. You should be a renter. First of all, that's asinine. And anyone that tells you that, you should run in the other direction as fast as you can because there's no data that supports that. That assumes that the money that you didn't spend on a down payment, you're suddenly going to get brilliant about and invest it in something. I don't believe that. People that own their home have more wealth than people that don't. Fact. Number 2, don't pay off your house. You always want to have a payment because of the interest rate deduction. Look, we could make as many charts as you want, but let's just get real for a minute. I have never heard anybody say, oh my God, I'm screwed. I own my home free and clear. Never heard that, as long as I lived. Matter of fact, I've never heard anyone say, this is the worst day of my life. I just paid my house off. Never heard that. I've also never heard, oh my gosh, I don't have a home payment. I'm so stressed about it. I've never heard that. I've never heard any of that. Which means, you know what? You own your home free and clear, you're going to experience a different kind of freedom. You just will. The HELOC, that's the home equity line of credit, friends. The HELOC is as old as the day is long, but there's all sorts of uses for it. I'm going to tell you an interesting story about a real estate agent that wanted to buy income-producing properties. Her goal was to create $15,000 a month in cash flow. That was her goal. What did she do? She went out and she got a HELOC on her house. She then started a postcard campaign where she said, I will buy your home for cash. Call me if you want an offer. She put her cell phone on it. When someone called her, she would make them an offer. She ended up buying the first 2 homes using her HELOC. She then refinanced those to buy the next 2 and the next 3 and the next 4. Friends, she then got up to 50 houses. She makes $15,000 a month passive. And it wouldn't have happened unless she would have started with her HELOC. By the way, if you love that, there is a class on it at MAPS that you can take because she has a group coaching program. Isn't that awesome, Joy? Yeah. You guys can't see Joy. She's off camera. She's smiling ear to ear right now. That's what you could use a HELOC for. Number 3, remove PMI. This is so crazy. So crazy. Y'all know what PMI is? Raise your hand if you know what it is. Yeah, of course you know what it is. If you put down less than 20% on a house when you bought it, the bank made you get principal mortgage insurance to protect them up to 20%. That was the gap. You pay it every month. But here's what's amazing. As soon as you have 20% equity in the house, the PMI, that gets to go away. But here's what's amazing. No one has ever gotten a phone call from a bank that said, hey, we realize that the value of your home has went up, and now simply by living in it, you have 20% plus equity. We're going to lower your payment by removing the PMI. That's never happened in the history of Earth. You know why? Because the bank is more than happy to collect the money that you keep paying. Which means if you have any customers at all that had PMI on their house, because the value of the homes has went up so dramatically in the last 5 years, they may now have 20%, which means, here's the action item. Any single person that you sold a home to that had PMI, they should call their bank and say, yo, my value has went up. I think I'm now past 20%. I'd like you to remove the PMI. Friends, a lot of lenders will do that on the phone with them at that moment. They'll do what's called a desktop value review. They'll type in the address, the computer program comes back and says, yep, and then all of a sudden the payment goes down. That's a no-brainer. Get rid of an escrow account. Not all banks mandate escrow accounts. Remember, escrow accounts are those things that we fill, that the bank helps us fill. It takes into account our taxes on our properties and our insurance payments. And so instead of having those bills come annually, we pay a little bit every month, and then the bank remits payment twice a year or once a year to those vendors. But not all banks make you use that. As a matter of fact, if you have perfect payment history and you've been doing it for a period of time, most banks will say, okay, cool, no problem. We're going to remove that. Which means that you keep that money every month, which effectively will lower the payment. You can then use that money to go out and invest in something. You just have to make sure when those things are due, you pay for them. You could live in the investment property, aka house hacking. This is like purchasing a multi-unit property. The borrower can live in one side while renting the rest of it out. The renters pay the mortgage on the whole darn building. It's a great way to buy your first place, second place, or vacation place. You could refinance to a shorter term mortgage. If you're in a 30-year, think about dropping to a 15-year. That's instantly going to save you money over the life of the loan. Make payments with credit cards. Friends, most banks, they don't accept credit card payments, but some of them do. We found a few, some of them do, which means you could get the credit card points. This is a great way to save money. You can pay your mortgage and you can get points to go on wild vacations and travel like Mr. Voorhees does. That might be the way to go for you. Now, if your bank doesn't, what a lot of banks are starting to do is accept PayPal. PayPal does accept credit cards. So follow this. You could set up your mortgage to be paid by your PayPal account, which you would then pay with your credit card, thus getting you the credit card points and paying the mortgage. Hack! I could have kept going. I could have kept giving you more and more hacks. Here's now my question to you. In your touch campaigns, how many of you are teaching people how to pay less money over the life of their loan? Why not? Why not? Friends, this is the kind of information that people need. Meaning, if you are running a market center, this is the type of information that your agents need. If you're a real estate agent, this is the type of information that your consumers need. Friends, go out and do likewise. Step 5, that's know the mortgage product your lender offers. Knowing all of the mortgage product that your lender offers go hand in hand with understanding the market of the moment. Friends, it's no good to understand the problem and not know what lender has the solution for you. Both assist you in being the best fiduciary. Not all lenders are created equal. So knowing the products and personalities of the preferred lenders will show your client that you know who to trust and that you're trustworthy. Number 6, market and advertise the products and hacks. Friends, this is so important. You see, part of your job as a leader, and by the way, I don't care if you're a realtor or a market center person watching this, what do leaders do? Leaders teach people how to think so that they do the things they need to do when they need to do them, so that they get the things they want when they want to have them. So I need you to go out and teach everybody how to make powerful market and advertising campaigns for their mortgage hacks, because that's what's going to lead to new motivated customers, and that's what's going to make the people in their database more sticky to them. We gave you 2 ways to do it, and we call them tech plays, which is post to social media for free and post to social media using campaigns. They're both great ways to do it. Heck, you could also do the Target My Database within Command right now and show these hacks to the people that are in your database. You also then have to market exclusively to your database, and we've been talking about that ad nauseum. That's about making sure that this is part of your 36 Touch plan. Because for as long as people have mortgages, people will want mortgage hacks. The last section of this book is called Case Studies. Here's what we realized. When we were doing the research for this playbook, we started calling as many different lenders as we could, and we would ask them questions. Can you explain a 5-1 arm to me? And they'd say, sure, and they'd explain it. And I'd say, great, can you show me the math on that? And they'd say, no problem. And some of them were able to do it. But then I said, that's interesting. Can you show me what buying down 3 points would look like? And I make an extra payment every year to my mortgage? And they were like, me? No. I said, well, why not? And they said, well, no one's ever asked that before. And I said, well, why not? They said, I don't know. And I said, well, maybe that's because when they're buying a home, they're not actually thinking about how much they're going to pay over the life of it. Well, then I said, well, why don't you guys just tell them on the front end? And I'll be honest with you, I didn't get a very good answer. And I'm not going to guess on what the answer is. But here's what I know. They didn't know the answer to these things. Because here's what I learned about mortgage hacks. Mortgage hacks broke into 2 sections. I had the product that people have, and then I had the hacks that people can use to pay less over time once they already had a product. Putting those 2 thoughts together, no one had done that before. You see, I started thinking about them as Lego pieces instead of individual pieces. And when we started putting Lego pieces together, it started to get wildly powerful. These case studies are multiple Lego pieces put together, and then we gave you the math. The way that we did it is we put in the first column of all of these the 30-year mortgage. And remember, we've been using the same numbers since we started. It's been $500,000, 5% is the down payment, 7% interest rate, $3,160 payment with $662,667 being paid over the life of the loan. That's the standard 30-year. The next columns that you're going to see are the different Lego pieces that we put together. In this first example, we bought it down 3 points. Then we made 1 extra payment per year. That gave us the next column, which is the total savings. Now here's what this last column is. This is really cool. This last column said based on those savings, that would be equivalent to the borrower being able to get a 30-year mortgage at what interest rate? I'll walk you through. Column number 1 was the 30-year. Buying it down 3 points, well, that brought the interest rate to 6.25%. Their monthly payment became $2,925, and over the life of the loan, if all they did was buy it down 3 points, they would have paid $577,876 in interest. But then we added 1 extra payment per year. Remember, that didn't change the monthly payment, but all of a sudden the interest rate went down to $455,000, which means that when you added these 2 things together, the total savings over the life of the loan was $207,148. That's equivalent to somebody getting a 30-year mortgage at 5.1%. Stop the presses. You do understand in that moment what happened, right? Which is every other real estate agent told the buyer that the interest rate today is 7%. And knowing these things and how to explain them, you showed them on how they could get into their time machine, hit 88 miles an hour, and go back to a time when they could have got 5.1% over 30 years. In that moment, you became the single greatest version of the fiduciary. I get excited about this because if real estate agents can't actually make a difference, if we can't actually save people money and time, then why would they ever need a real estate agent? And who the hell are we anyway? But we can. Go to the next one. The next one was a combination of a 30-year mortgage plus a bonus payment. So what we said in this one is, okay, let's say that somebody closes on a house with a 30-year mortgage. And remember, it's $500,000. That didn't change. And in the second month, they wrote a check, bonus payment, $20,000. Friends, that saved them $121,000 over the life of the loan on interest, which was equivalent to someone getting a 30-year fixed, not 7, but 5.9%. That's massive, especially at a time when people get tax rebates and are sitting on a bunch of money. The next one. This was a combination of a 15-year loan and a roundup. Remember, the rounding up was the rounding up of the payment, so here's how this went. We said, okay, cool, same $500,000 house, but this time it's at a 15-year mortgage. The interest rate goes down to 6%, because remember, if you finance over 15 instead of 30, it's going to be less. The payment went up, we know that, to $4,008. We round that payment up to $4,100. Friends, that saved $426,000 in the life of this loan on interest. That's equivalent to someone getting an interest rate on a 30-year fixed of 2.9%. I am not a math nerd, and I'm freaking out. That's crazy. You literally have a time machine, not figuratively. Literally, you can take them back to when interest rates were 2.9%. If I had the power of media, if Sean Cawthon, who runs this whole thing, was here with me right now, and I would say, Sean, put up the historic mortgage slide and then show me where the last time you could get 2.9% was, you'd see I'm going back in time. I am the Michael J. Fox of our generation. That's what I'd be saying. That is incredible. Joy, you're my Doc Brown. The next one. This would be a combination of a 4-point buy down and a bonus payment. And you can see what happened here. The 4-point buy down, that was great in and of itself. You all remember how that works. If you don't, go back into the book and learn about your buy downs again. Then we said, okay, they're going to pay an extra $500 a month. By the way, there's a lot of people that if they make different choices every month could throw an extra $500 a month at their mortgage. And here's what we got. Because we did the buy down, the payment went from $3,160 all the way down to $2,848. So the payment went down. They then added back in $500 a month extra to that. Friends, they saved $308,000 over the life of this loan. That's the same as having a 4.1% interest rate on a 30-year mortgage. That's tremendous. And the loan, by the way, this thing went down 9 years. You paid this one off in 21 years instead of 30. It's massive. This is really simple, right? The next one, a 15-year mortgage compared to a 30-year mortgage. You all know how that works. And I mean, that's just as clear as day. You save so much money. By the way that we did this one is interesting. On this one, we said, let's go back in time for a minute. Let's pretend that the interest rate was 3.5%, not 7, like we've been doing. Let's pretend it's 3.5%. The monthly payment, $2,133. Yeah, it went up. Friends, you still saved $46,000, which means that a 15-year mortgage at a 6% rate saved you more money than a 30-year mortgage at 3.5. The path is in the math. The next one, it shows you a 30-year mortgage with a 3-2-1 buy down and a no-cost refi. This was really important because when we talked to people, they said, I think rates are going to go down over the next 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. And we said, great, by how much? And that was where the debate came in. They really didn't know. We figured that the rate would come down to 5% during it, which means they did a 3-2-1 buy down, which again means that the rate is lowest in year 1, a little higher in year 2, then it's at prevailing year 3 forward. But in this case, they refinanced their house down to a 30-year in year 4 at 5%. Guys, they saved almost $500,000 playing this game. That's equivalent to a 30-year at 4.1. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but here's what I do want to do. I want to tell you that these are some of the most powerful Lego pieces that the industry has to offer, and most people have no idea how to play with the Legos because no one has ever given them the instruction manual. You now have it. I promise you this. There's no other real estate company on earth with this information right now. What you do with it will define us. On the last page, here's what Gary said. Average is doing only what you want to do. Success is doing what you must do. Friends, he said it in Shift with Jay. Truer words were never said. You must do this. We are what we decide we will be, and we do what we decide we will do. We become our choices. Friends, make the choice to become the best version of our industry and the best fiduciary you can be. That's it. Use these mortgage hacks as a beginning and commit to continuing to be the economist of choice for your customers. Take a breath. You just went through the entire mortgage hacks class. You now need to go back and read it again and make sure you understand it. Get it on your training calendars as quickly as possible and start teaching it. And remember, the best way to teach something is to just get up and start doing it. Do it with a buddy. You understand this. Feel free to fill in with some stories that you come naturally, but the content is all right here. The only thing that may have been stopping you was that you didn't know the information. You now know it. Okay, I want to just thank you. I keep saying it because I know it's true. It's really hard to sit in a room and learn all this, and it feels lonely. I get all that. The work you're doing right now is going to change lives. It's just that simple. You see, not everybody, but someone's going to hear you teach this and run out and make touches that are needed and useful and get more referrals this year. Someone's going to hear you say this. They're going to sit down with their list of buyers and get really serious about getting them all locked, and that shopping is going to become important. They're going to go. Someone's going to hear this and they're going to start. We're seeing it all over the country. People making educational seminars where they're driving to Zoom calls where you have real estate agents teaching this en masse to the consumers. Many people could go and change their lives. It's not because of us. It will be because of you. You have to go teach this now. You see, Keller Williams, you need to have the most disruptive education in the marketplace. And there's three things that have to occur for that to happen. Number one, you have to recommit to being an educationally based company. You just have to. And for some of you, you've lived that your whole lives, and for some of you, it's new, and I don't care either way. You have to commit to it. That means running a training calendar that's both timeless and timely. This is the timely. Number two, you have to learn all of this so that you can go out and teach it, because the way that you deliver it and your confidence around it will be in direct relation to those that learn it. And then number three, you don't just do it once. You have to stand this up and you need to market and drive to your education. A team leader said to me the other day, Jason, I'm teaching great content, but no one is there. Friends, then it's possible that it's not great content. You see, it's possible it's not solving a problem that they have, or it's possible that it's not presented to them as an opportunity, which means you need to market your classes if you want people to attend them. This is the market of the moment. You are providing the tactical information that they need to go be disruptive within the marketplace. You have all the tools. Wildly grateful that you sat through it all. Wildly grateful for the actions that you're going to take. So what's the first action? When you stop this class, the first thing you need to do is schedule the course. The second thing that you need to do is make some marketing materials for it. The third thing that you need to do is commit to having as many people in the room as you can. And the fourth thing is no matter how many people show up, and I don't care if there's one, you give the class that can change their life. Because if you changed one life every day, you'd look up and you have one hell of a year. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being the best teachers in the industry. Good luck.